Today is 4th of August 2025. Yesterday, I talked about the second cause to develop, to sharpen the controlling faculties, that is, practicing respectfully. Under this topic, I explain the main 4 points mentioned in the text, that is, to act as blind though one can see, to act as if deaf although one can hear, to act as if ignorant although one has so many knowledges and experiences about the teachings of the Buddha and practice, and to act as the weak, to act as if weak although one is strong. Then I talk about the third cause to develop and sharpen the controlling faculties. And I have been talking about that third one. And yesterday we explained how we can connect sitting and walking, or how we can connect the energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom that we developed in sitting and walking, and how to practice in between sitting and walking. So yesterday I explained. So there are still more things to explain how we can practice with unbroken mindfulness, how we can practice with unbroken concentration. Not only in between sitting and walking, even after sitting, after walking, we may go to washroom, we may drink water. At those moments, in those activities as well, yogis have to be mindful. Otherwise, again, there will be gap, there will be interval. Your mindfulness, your concentration will break. So that means whatever yogis do throughout the day have to do all the activities energetically, mindfully, concentrately. If you do so, your first mindfulness of the day will connect to the last mindfulness of the day. That means you are mindful throughout the day. Everything you do mindfully. Sitting, walking, day-to-day activities. Whether in meditation hall, whether out of the meditation hall, whether in your room, whether in dining hall, whether in washroom or bathroom. If you are mindful, then your mindfulness is well connected. Your concentration is well connected. Your wisdom is well connected. and faith and confidence, energy are well connected. That is why while eating, we have to be mindful. It is also because we can discern many things while eating. As I have mentioned, when you are about to eat, you may note as looking, seeing. While looking at your dish, you may note as looking, seeing. Maybe once, twice, or thrice. Then if you have intention to eat, then note as intention to eat. When you start to move your hand, then note as moving. When you start to scoop, then note as scooping. When you lift your hand, note as lifting. Observe the movements of your hand when hand is moving, when hand is functioning. When you put into the mouth, then putting into the mouth, then dropping hand. First, drop your hand before you start chewing. Before you start chewing, because if you chew immediately, then there will be two actions. Mind can't observe two actions at the same time. So dropping your hand, note as dropping, and when you start chewing, in each bite, note as chewing, chewing. And observe the movements, observe inside the mouth or movements of the mouth. While chewing, there are many things to discover, discern, or to notice. Yogis may notice different textures. Yogis may notice hardness, softness, coolness, warmness, roughness, and yogis may notice different flavors, different tastes, uh, such as sweet, spicy, bitter, and so on. At times, not only one taste, but multiple tastes. Multiple tastes you may notice at a moment. You may notice the mentalities as well, arising due to the flavors. Like if the flavor is good, if it is delicious, then liking mind. If flavor is not good, not delicious, then disliking mind. Then wanting to eat, not wanting to eat, wanting to have some more, not wanting to have more, wanting to continue, not wanting to continue. So based on the flavors, based on the taste, different types of mind arise and yogis may notice. So you may notice or you may discover how sense objects cause to arise the wholesome and the unwholesome mind. So discernment, that discernment will help you to understand that how other sense objects, like when you see, when you hear, when you smell, when you touch, wholesome and unwholesome minds tend to arise, likely to arise. And then how to prevent them. When you become able to note on right time, when you taste, when you have flavor, then if you become able to note on the right time, you will be able to prevent those liking, disliking mind and mentalities. So in this way, there are many things you may discover, you may explore while eating, and you may develop very good concentration, mindfulness, concentration while eating if you try your best, if you practice diligently. So in this way, this is just the example. When you drink water, when you open, close the door, when you stand up, sit down, when you stretch, bend your hand, when you put on your shoes, take off your shoes, when you go to washroom, wash your hand, wash your face. So in all these activities, yogis should try to be mindful. Then mindfulness become connected, energy become connected, mindfulness become connected, concentrations become connected, wisdoms become connected, and easy to improve. Easy to improve because every preceding energy, every preceding mindfulness, every preceding concentration, every preceding wisdom is the nearest cause for succeeding energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. The greatest support and the nearest support. This is how the succeeding energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom become stronger. That is why yogis should practice continuously. So that's why now if I have to say in detail, even in more detail, so when you do sitting meditation, when you observe rising as rising, at that time you do apply energy, mindfulness is there, let's say concentration is there, let's say wisdom is there, then when you observe falling, again you should try your best to develop energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. If so, then the first one is, and second one is well connected. Again, next rising, next falling. So they will be, they will do note after constantly, consistently, you are well connected, become well connected, they become progressive. If it is walking meditation, each step must be observed in the same way. If you do right, left, then the force, the right, if it is right, then the energy, effort, the mindfulness, the concentration, the wisdom that you develop on first step, on the right step must be connected to the left. Similarly, then again if you move, then right, left, then again they must be connected to each other. This is how you can make your improvement quite fast. And also we can say this is how we develop, we sharpen our energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom. So, because if there are gaps, there are intervals, there are breaks between two energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, defilements have chance to arise. They are likely to arise because they defilements, unwholesome mind and mentalities keep loitering. They keep seeking the chances to arise in our mind stream. As soon as we miss, they arise. As soon as we miss the object, as soon as we forget to be mindful, they arise. So that's why we should not give chance kilesas to arise. Like while paving parquet or marble, the two pieces of marble or parquet must be well connected to each other. If they are not well connected, the space will take like a dust or the dots, or it will be the space for insects. When it takes dots or insects, then will not be durable. Similarly, if there are gaps, intervals, breaks in between two energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom, then kilesas or defilements are likely to arise and our energy, mindfulness, concentration will not be strong enough, will not be durable. So in that sense, yogis, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom, energy must be connected to each other. And also in sitting meditation, if yogis try in this way, it becomes easier. Like if you observe rising and falling continuously one after another, it becomes easier to detect the thinking and thoughts. If your observation is not good to rising and falling, then you delay to observe, you delay to detect thinking and thoughts. So those yogis who delay to realize, who delay to detect thinking and thoughts, their observation is not good. Their observation to main object rising and falling is not good or not continuous. If your observation to main object is good, continuous, then you can detect easily the thinking and thoughts. And again, if your observation is continuous, when pain, unpleasant sensation arise, it becomes easier to deal with pain and unpleasant sensation. Before arising pain, unpleasant sensation, you have to do hard working. You have to do hard working. Otherwise, it becomes even more difficult. It becomes more difficult when you have to deal with unpleasant sensations. So in that sense also, the continuous observation is really helpful to deal unpleasant sensations. So that is also why yogis have to observe continuously. And it is again about the practice. It is about the habit of the mind. If you observe continuously in walking and day-to-day activities, then it's easy to observe continuously in sitting. No matter how much you try to observe continuously in sitting, if you are not trying in walking and in day-to-day activities, it takes time in sitting. It's really hard to do so in sitting meditation because it's about the habit. It's about the practice. It's about how you train your mind. If you try in walking, if you try in day-to-day activities, then in sitting it becomes much easier to observe continuously and constantly. So that is also why we have to try not only in sitting, but in walking and in day-to-day activities as well. And the example is given here. Before the invention of matches, people had to strike two sticks or rocks together to create fire. To succeed, they have to strike continuously until fire started. If you strike for a while and stop, strike for a while and stop, if you keep doing so, no matter how long you strike, fire will not start. Similarly, when you practice, you strive for a while and you stop, you strive for a while and again you stop. In that way, it is really hard to develop insight knowledge, especially when it is about to develop the insight knowledge. Your mindfulness concentration must be continuous. When they are continuous, they get momentum and they permit to arise the wisdom. So that is also why you have to try consistently. You have to try continuously. And one moment of energy, mindfulness concentration may not seem strong, like a single thread or a single curve wave may not seem strong. But when many are woven together, then they amazingly become strong. Similarly, yogis, one moment of meditators, one moment of energy, mindfulness, concentration may not seem strong. But when you put together, then they become amazingly strong. We can see the improvement of the yogis who practice every day, who try their best every day. They improve. They improve on second day compared to the first day. They improve on third day compared to the second day. So those yogis who are trying from the beginning of the retreat, we can see their improvement. And you yourself may have noticed, may have realized how was your energy on the first day. Compared to first day, your energy is better on second day. Compared to second, on third day, your energy is better. Similarly, mindfulness compared to first, on second day better, on third day even better. So they are getting better and better. Those who are trying day by day, their energy is getting better, mindfulness is getting better, concentration is getting better. And this energy, mindfulness, concentration permit wisdom to develop. Wisdom to develop. So that's why the third cause to develop and sharpen the controlling faculties is practicing continuously. Unbroken continuity is needed. So, but at times, yogis, meditators ask how to maintain mindfulness in day-to-day activities. At times, it is hard to maintain mindfulness. Though we give our best, still we keep missing. We keep missing, we keep forgetting the actions, the objects. So how to maintain that mindfulness, how we can observe continuously, how we can sustain our mindfulness. So this question is there. So there are few tips for that. First, you have to have desire. The great desire is needed. The great desire is needed, like no matter what, I will make it possible to do. That kind of mentality is needed. Great desire is needed. I have mentioned, maybe on the first day, the stronger desire, the stronger energy. The greater desire, the greater energy. If you have great desire, then the great effort arise. And with that great effort, when you try, then you will be able to do so. So first, great desire is needed. Like no matter what, I will make it possible to do. I will try my best. I will give my best to maintain mindfulness from early morning until go to the bed. So first, that mentality is needed. Still, you may keep missing, you may keep missing, you may keep forgetting. So when you realize the action, when you realize the action that you missed, that you forgot to observe, then remind immediately to give your best for next time. Remind immediately, oh, I missed this action, so next time I will give my best in order to not to miss, in order to not to forget. For example, you miss to observe while drinking water, so try next time. So when you are about to drink water next time, now again you have to remind, okay, last time I missed, this time I should not. I should give my best. So again, you need inspiration, you need courage, great courage to make it possible to do. And then another thing needed is you have to do in order. Yesterday I mentioned after sitting, the first object to be observed is intention. Intention to open the eyes. Then opening the eyes, that is the second object. Then maybe looking, seeing. Then you start to move your hands. When you move your hands, maybe right hand first, then left hand, right leg first, then left leg. So you have to keep this order. If you don't keep order, it becomes hard to maintain mindfulness. It is because when you keep this order, mind records. Mind records what after what, what after what. I have mentioned the function of the perception. It records, it keeps recording. So it keeps recording the action also, what after what. So if you keep the same order again and again, later it becomes spontaneous. Automatically mind will note. Now mind knows what you are going to do, what action is going to take place. So it becomes easier to note those actions. So keep in order. And of course, when you perform, you have to do slowly. If you do fastly, it's not easy to maintain mindfulness. It's not easy to maintain mindfulness. So do slowly. Then another thing, what you can do is noting intention mind. At the beginning, it is better to note the major action. Major action, later the minor action. Means, for example, when you are about to drink water, then wanting to drink water. That is main action. So in that main action, there are major action, there are minor actions, like a stretching hand, touching the bottle, holding the bottle, then lifting, then uncovering, then putting into the mouth, swallowing. There are many minor activities. At the beginning, you don't need to try to know all those minor activities because it is not possible, and uh, you will get frustrated also if you try. First try the major intention of the major action. Note intention of the major action. Because if you note intention, then it's easy to reflect what you are going to do. what actions you are going to perform, so that becomes easier to maintain mindfulness. So, and if you try again and again, for mind also it become a habit. As I mentioned, mind records everything. Like some yogis, they might have experience early in the morning. As soon as you get up, mind knows automatically as waking up, or maybe mind observes immediately the rising and falling of the abdomen, because you are trying every day. You are trying to observe abdomen as soon as you wake up. So it becomes habit for mind to observe abdomen. So it becomes spontaneous, it becomes automatic. Same thing in day-to-day activities. If you keep doing again and again, if you try again and again, then for mind it becomes spontaneous. So try again and again. Keep doing. At the beginning, yes, definitely we miss, we forget, as I just mentioned, but don't give up. Don't give up, keep trying again and again. So these are the few tips or techniques to maintain mindfulness in day-to-day activities. And when you practice in this way continuously and with unbroken mindfulness, and when you note intention mind especially, later you will become able to note more and more. You can add by yourself. You will understand by yourself. You will know by yourself, okay, now you can add some extra intention mind in day-to-day activities. So when you have that belief or that confidence, you may add by yourself, okay, now I will note intention mind of this action, okay, that action. When you become successful, then again, okay, now I will add some more. So in this way, you become able to note many intention mind. Later, as I have mentioned before, even the intention to blink eyes, even intention to swallow the saliva, even intention to move eyeballs, all these activities, you will be able to note intention. We will be able to note the intention of those activities, and that means your actions become under control. Your physical actions remain under control, and we are talking about the controlling faculties. We are talking about the self-control. You will be able to control your bodily action, then you will be able to control your verbal action, you will be able to control your mental action. You will slowly know what mind is about to do, mind is about to think, what mind is about to plan, where mind is about to go or wander. You will know even what mind is about to do. That is why Buddha mentioned in one of the discourse, in one of the discourse, that when we are about to do something by body, speech, or mind, it is good to reflect before we do. And we have to reflect whether the action that we are going to do is suitable or not, beneficial or not, for yourself and for others. By reflecting in that way, when you discover that action is beneficial, suitable for you yourself and for others, then you may do that. You may do that action. You may do that bodily action, verbal action, and mental action. If not, then you should not do that. You should not do that action. If you couldn't reflect before acting, at least you have to reflect while doing. What you are doing bodily, verbally, and mentally. Again, by reflecting, when you find is suitable and beneficial, then you may continue. If not, you have to stop immediately. You can't continue that action. If you couldn't reflect while doing, at least you have to reflect immediately after that action. The action you did was beneficial or not, suitable or not. If you found after doing is not suitable, is not beneficial, then in future you should not do it again. If it is suitable and beneficial, then you may do it again in the future. So in one of the discourse, Buddha mentioned people people commit unwholesome actions because they even don't know what they are going to do, what they are doing, or what they did. That's why they keep doing again and again unwholesome actions. Then later they feel guilty, they remorse. That's why guilty is there. That's why remorse is there. So in order to not to feel guilty in future, in order to not to remorse in future, you have to reflect your actions. Best one is before you do. If not, then while doing, at least immediate after when you did it. You have to contemplate, you have to reflect. So it would be possible when you have good awareness. So awareness is needed. Without awareness, it is not easy to reflect before the action. Before the action, it is not easy to reflect. If your mindfulness awareness is good, you can reflect. That is noting the intention mind. When your mindfulness gets better, then it's become possible to reflect the intention mind, it becomes easy to reflect uh, the the action, the thing that you are going to do, the thing that you are likely to do, whether it is bodily action, whether it is verbal action and mental action. Not only bodily action. Remember about the verbal action. You will be able to know like what you are going to say, what word you are going to use. Not only verbal speech, but mind, mentally what you are going to think. You will be able to know in this way. When mindfulness gets better and strong. So again, to be able to that, to be able to do so, again, noting the intention mind really helps. So that's why you may try slowly. As I just mentioned, start from the growth and the major action. Major action. In walking, you may try from the first step. You may try to note the intention of first step. Right now, it is not necessary to note the intention of each lifting, each moving, each dropping. Those are minor actions. You can try the intention to walk, intention to step. That is enough right now. Because if you may be able to do, you may be able to note if you try, but if you try right now when your mindfulness concentration is not yet sharp, your mind will just be curious about noting the intention mind rather than paying attention to the action. Yeah, your mind uh, will just try to note the intention mind. Your mind will be thinking about the intention mind, like what next intention mind is, what next intention mind is. If you keep thinking so, then you will miss the action. Right now, it is more important to note the action. So don't try all the intention mind, or don't try minor intention mind if it is not not like easy right now. So note the major intention mind. Later, slowly you may add again and again. So this is how we practice in sorry. This is how we practice in day-to-day activities in order to make our mindfulness continuous, not only in day-to-day activities, as I have just mentioned in the sitting also, how to make our mindfulness continuous, like observing rising, falling, one after another, one after another. While sitting, at times you may scratch somewhere. So that action must be noted. You have to note wanting to scratch, then when you lift your hand, lifting, when you touch, touching, when you scratch, scratching. If you miss that action, then there is gap. While walking, at times you make hand movements. Again, maybe for scratching, maybe changing the position of the hand. Don't, don't forget to note that action. At times you do while walking. If you do that action while walking, you miss either the movements of leg or the movements of hand. You can't absorb both of them at the same time. So if you want to do, you have to pause your walking if time permits. Okay, there are the moments when time does not permit. That is another case. But when you are doing walking meditation, when time permits, at a time you have to pause your walking. Then if you lift your hand, lifting, if you put touch on the chains, then changing. If you are about to scratch, then scratching. Note these activities. Then there will not be gap between two mindfulness, two concentration, two energy. So this is about the Thor. This is about the Thor cause, a causative factor in order to improve, in order to develop and sharpen the controlling faculties. And I have mentioned yesterday also, I did mention that these two, practicing respectfully and continuously, are the main two causes in order to develop, in order to sharpen the controlling faculties. So yogis try their best to apply these two causative factors into the practice. May you be all able to apply into the practice, and by application of these two main causative factors, may you be able to develop mindfulness. May you be able to develop and sharpen your energy, mindfulness, concentration, and wisdom.